Hey Liam, you know what happened to me this week? I learned a few new English words and I was so happy because I thought, I'm definitely going to remember these. Then, just a couple of days later, they completely vanished from my mind.
Hey, Emma. Don't worry, that happens to almost every English learner. The good news is that it usually has absolutely nothing to do with your memory.
Really? But why do we forget words so quickly, even right after studying them?
It happens because most learners study vocabulary in a way that our brains simply weren't designed to handle.
That's actually really reassuring, because I think everyone learning English has been through that frustration.
They definitely have. Most people memorize long vocabulary lists, repeat each word a few times, and just hope for the best. But today, you'll learn 10 words that Americans use in real conversations every single day. More importantly, I'll show you a simple technique that makes those words much harder to forget.
I love the sound of that. I don't want to keep learning words that disappear from my memory after a week.
That's exactly what we're going to change. By the end of today's lesson, you won't just recognize these words, you'll know how to connect them to your own life so they naturally stick.
Now you've made me really curious. What's our first word?
Let's start with one you'll hear everywhere. Chill.
Ah, I hear that one all the time in movies and videos, but it always seems to have different meanings. What does it usually mean?
Great question. In everyday conversations, chill often means to relax or spend time without doing anything stressful. For example, someone might say, "I'm just going to chill at home tonight." They're simply saying they plan to relax.
That's funny because in school I only learned I'm going to relax. I don't remember any textbook teaching me I'm going to chill.
Exactly. And that's the biggest difference between textbook English and real-life English. Both are correct, but when friends are talking casually, chill sounds much more natural.
So if my friend asks what I'm doing this weekend, I could just answer, I'm just going to chill.
Absolutely. That sounds completely natural.
Wait a second. At the beginning of the lesson, you promised to teach us how not to forget these words. I know what chill means now, but how do I make sure it actually sticks?
Here is the biggest mistake learners make. They memorize the definition, but they never connect the word to their own life. Instead of just asking, "What does chill mean?" you need to ask yourself, "When am I going to chill this week?"
That's a completely different way of thinking. Instead of just studying the word, I'm imagining myself actually using it.
Exactly. The moment your brain connects a new word to one of your own personal experiences, it becomes much harder to forget.
Let me try. Tonight after dinner, I'm probably going to chill and watch a movie.
Perfect. That is already 1,000 times better than simply repeating "chill means relax" over and over.
Wow, that honestly blows my mind. I get it now. My brain is remembering a real situation, not just a dry definition.
That's exactly how native speakers build vocabulary as children. They don't memorize lists. They connect words to real life.
Okay, what's our second word?
The next one is incredibly common. Grab.
Wait, I thought grab meant taking something quickly with your hand. Is there another meaning?
There is, and Americans use it constantly. Very often, grab simply means to get, eat, or buy something quickly. For example, let's grab a coffee.
Ah, so nobody is literally grabbing the coffee cup with force. They're just going to buy it.
Exactly. That's why context is so important.
I think this is another expression textbooks don't teach very often.
You're right. Textbooks focus on dictionary definitions, while native speakers focus on everyday communication. You'll hear grab everywhere, at offices, coffee shops, or friends making weekend plans.
I'm already noticing a pattern. These words aren't difficult at all. They're just much more natural than the vocabulary I usually study.
That's one of today's biggest lessons. You're not learning advanced, unusual English. You're learning the English people actually speak every single day.
Okay, I think I know this next one because I've heard it in so many American movies. Do people still say awesome?
All the time. It's one of the easiest ways to react positively. If a friend tells you they finally got the job they wanted, instead of saying, "That's very good," you'll probably hear, "That's awesome."
That definitely sounds more enthusiastic.
Native speakers often choose expressions that show emotion instead of just describing a fact. So, if my friend says they're coming to visit me next month, I could answer, "That's awesome. I can't wait to see you."
A perfect example. It sounds warm, enthusiastic, and completely natural. Now, Liam, you mentioned the next word is something native speakers use much more often than learners realize. What is it?
It's the word guess. Most learners only use it when they don't know an answer, but in everyday conversations, it has a much softer meaning.
Really? How do Americans actually use it?
Someone might say, "I guess I'll stay home tonight." They're not making a random guess. They're simply saying, "I think I'll stay home." It makes the statement sound less rigid.
Ah, so it leaves a little room for flexibility. Let me see if I can use it naturally. I guess I'll grab a coffee and then chill at home.
Wow, excellent. You just used 3 of today's words in one single, completely natural sentence.
I didn't even notice that.
That's because you're starting to think in ideas and context instead of just translating individual words.
We've already learned 4 words, and I can still remember all of them. I don't think that's ever happened to me before.
That's because we're not treating them as separate vocabulary items. We're connecting them into one complete idea.
That actually feels much easier than trying to memorize 4 different definitions. Okay, what's our 5th word?
This one causes a lot of confusion worldwide. Actually. In everyday English, it usually means in fact or to tell you the truth.
Can you give us an example?
Of course. Imagine someone asks, "Have you ever been to Texas?" You could answer, "Actually, I've never been there." You're simply correcting an assumption or adding a bit of unexpected information.
Let me try. Someone asks, "Do you like spicy food?" And I answer, "Actually, I love spicy food."
Perfect. That sounds completely natural, and that's exactly how native speakers use it every day.
I can't believe we've already learned 5 words and they're all sticking. We're halfway through the lesson and now I'm even more curious. What's word number 6?
It's a word you'll hear multiple times a day. Stuff.
Ah, I hear people say that all the time, but I never know exactly what they are referring to.
That's because stuff is a very flexible word. Native speakers use it instead of saying things. Rather than listing every single object or task, they just use one easy word. For example, "I've got a lot of stuff to do today."
Oh, so they're not talking about physical objects there. They're talking about tasks or responsibilities.
Exactly. Sometimes stuff means physical objects, and other times it means activities, responsibilities, or anything that doesn't need a specific name.
Let me try. I can't go out tonight because I've got a lot of stuff to finish. Does that sound natural?
It sounds perfect. That's exactly how a native speaker would say it.
What's our next word?
Actually, it's 2 words that always work together. Kind of.
Oh, I've heard people say, "I'm kind of tired," or "It's kind of expensive." Why don't they just say, "I'm tired," or "It's expensive"?
Great question. Americans love to soften what they're saying. Instead of making a statement sound too strong or direct, They use kind of to make it sound a little more relaxed and casual.
Ah, so I'm kind of tired doesn't necessarily mean they're only a little tired. It just sounds friendlier and less rigid.
Exactly. It's one of those small expressions that immediately makes your English sound way more natural.
That's definitely something I never learned in school. We always practiced the most direct sentences possible.
That's one of the biggest differences between classroom English and real-life conversations. Real English usually sounds much softer.
Liam, can I tell you something? I'm remembering these words much more easily than I expected.
I'm not surprised. That's because every word comes with a conversation instead of just a dry definition. But here's another trick. At the end of today's lesson, close your eyes and try to remember the scenes where we used the words.
That's interesting. So instead of just thinking stuff means things, I should remember someone saying, "I've got a lot of stuff to do today."
Exactly. Your brain remembers scenes much better than isolated facts. That's why movies are easier to remember than vocabulary lists.
I've definitely never studied English that way before. Okay, what's our 8th word?
This one surprises almost every learner. Pretty.
Wait, I thought pretty only meant beautiful.
That's one meaning. But in everyday English, pretty often means quite or fairly. For example, I'm pretty busy today, or the movie was pretty good.
Oh, so nobody is saying the movie was beautiful. They're just saying it was quite good.
Exactly. That's why context changes everything.
Let me try. I'm pretty excited about our next lesson. Does that sound natural?
Absolutely. That's exactly how native speakers use it. It sounds way more conversational.
We've already learned 8 words, and I honestly don't feel overwhelmed at all.
That's because we're building conversations instead of just forcing your brain to memorize vocabulary.
I have a feeling the last 2 words are going to bring everything together.
They certainly will. In fact, this next one is an expression you'll hear whenever native speakers are trying to solve a problem together.
What does figure out actually mean? I hear it in movies all the time.
It's one of the most useful expressions you'll ever learn. Figure out means to find an answer or solve a problem.
So instead of saying, "we'll solve the problem," people say, "we'll figure it out."
Exactly. If your car suddenly breaks down or you're lost, someone might say, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out." It's reassuring, natural, and incredibly common.
Let me try. I'm pretty excited about our next lesson. Does that sound natural?
Absolutely. That's exactly how native speakers use it. It sounds way more conversational.
We've already learned 8 words, and I honestly don't feel overwhelmed at all.
That's because we're building conversations instead of just forcing your brain to memorize vocabulary.
I have a feeling the last 2 words are going to bring everything together.
They certainly will. In fact, this next one is an expression you'll hear whenever native speakers are trying to solve a problem together.
What does figure out actually mean? I hear it in movies all the time.
It's one of the most useful expressions you'll ever learn. Figure out means to find an answer or solve a problem.
So instead of saying, "we'll solve the problem," people say, "we'll figure it out."
Exactly. If your car suddenly breaks down or you're lost, someone might say, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out." It's reassuring, natural, and incredibly common.
I really like that expression because it sounds so encouraging.
It does. It focuses completely on finding a solution instead of worrying about the problem.
We've finally reached our last word. Which one did you save for the end?
One of my personal favorites. Hang out.
I hear that one too. Does it simply mean spending time with friends?
Exactly. Whenever people get together without a strict plan, they say they're going to hang out. For example, do you want to hang out after work?
I like that because it sounds so relaxed.
Nobody is planning a formal event, they're just spending time together.
That's exactly the idea. It's one of the most common expressions in everyday American English.
Let me try. A few friends are coming over tonight. We're just going to hang out and watch a movie.
Perfect example.
Now, Liam, at the beginning of today's lesson, you promised to show us how not to forget these 10 words. What's the big secret?
Here's the biggest mistake most learners make. They learn 10 words today, then tomorrow they try to learn 10 more. A week later, they barely remember any of them.
That sounds painfully familiar. I've definitely done that before.
Instead, try something much simpler. Choose just one word from today's lesson. Before you go to bed tonight, use it in a sentence about your own life. Tomorrow, choose another word and do exactly the same thing.
So instead of cramming everything at once, I'm giving each word a chance to become part of my daily routine.
Exactly. And remember that other trick? Connect several of them into one single sentence, like, I guess I'm going to grab a coffee, hang out with some friends, and chill.
I love that. You review multiple words in one natural idea. Before we finish, let's do a quick final challenge. Let's see how many words everyone remembers.
Great idea! Everyone watching, pause the video right now. Can you remember which words mean relax, get or buy, really great, probably, in fact, things, somewhat, quite, solve a problem, spend time with friends? Take a moment.
Okay, let's check. Chill, grab, awesome, guess, actually, stuff, kind of, pretty, figure out, hang out. I can't believe I remember all 10.
And that's exactly what happens when you learn words through real context instead of isolated lists.
I honestly thought today's lesson would just be another vocabulary list. Instead, I learned words I'll actually hear in real life, and I finally understand why I used to forget things so quickly.
Before we go, we'd love to hear from you. Which of today's 10 words are you going to start using first? Tell us in the comments and try to write a complete sentence with it. And remember, in our next lesson, we're going to explore what it's really like to live in Texas. You'll learn the exact expressions and culture Texans use every day, so you can stop translating and start speaking like a local.
It's the perfect next step. Once you know the everyday words, it's time to learn how native speakers actually put them together in a real-world Texas survival guide.
Thanks so much for spending this time with us today.
Keep learning,
Keep speaking.
and we'll see you in the next lesson.
Bye.